Hi, friends. Well, I got home, had myself a nice meal, and now I'm having my coffee here, so forgive me, but I need a sip of this. I'm actually drinking the coffee cold because I don't feel like having hot coffee right now. It's so hot. Okay, let's get to today's topic. This is gonna be good. You were born to be great. So, you need to understand that when you put your mind, heart, and soul into something, whatever that may be, and I mean truly, okay, because here's the thing, these things have to be balanced with one another. They are all interconnected. They are this basic block of your own existence, your own being, the real you, your true self. So let me elaborate a little bit, and you guys will see and understand, because I'm sure we've all been through stuff like that in life. Every single one of us. Doesn't matter who's on the other side of the screen right now. When I start talking about this, you will be like, wow, yeah. So here's the thing. You know, when you have this determination that is something that it's not coming from your ego, it's almost as if your soul is telling you that you are meant to do something, whatever that something may be. Okay? And let's go back to childhood again because it's all about childhood. For most of us, in most cases and scenarios, when we are when we are children, we're little, as we're just, you know, learning how to talk and all these things. Let's get an age bracket here, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be between the ages of 2 and 4. After four, it's not, you won't be able to trust that information, because at that point you're already developing, you know, your ego, which is not you. Yeah, it's going to be an integral part of you, obviously, but that's not presence. That's not source. And there's a huge difference. So, what I'm saying is, if you ask any children within that age bracket between 2 and 4, what is it that they would like to do when they are grown up? What is it that they love? In most cases, and I would be curious if there's any data out there to back this up, but that would be a very beautiful, inspirational, and powerful study for someone who makes studies that matter, that will, you know, make people's lives better. This would be a huge study, huge undertaking, if there is no data about this, because I think it's extremely important. So, if you ask a child, between those ages, what is it that they want to do? What would they like to be? They will give you an honest answer at that point, because that is exactly what they want to do. They know, they have this ethereal memory within their souls, because they are still living in this like heart state, love state, where they're just, pure presence. There are no like, you know external thoughts going on at that point, because that's what we are when we're children. So at that point, a child knows exactly what it is supposed to do when they will be grown, because they know. It's like it's like this, I would call it an akashic memory that we all carry within ourselves. Even though there is this whole process of us forgetting almost everything about our past lives when we come back. And I'm not going to go into that again for the, I don't know how many times I talked about this. If you don't believe that type of thing, you're free to think that way. But just know that you're wrong. And then that's all I'm going to say. When we come back, we forget things because it's part of the process. Um, Obviously, like I said, there are cases where people will remember certain things, but most of the time we don't remember stuff. But there are things that they stay there for a certain amount of time after we are born, and before we develop our personality, and we get the ego and all these things. And this is one of the things that not only do I believe to be true, but it, it feels right, intuitively speaking. I know that. Don't ask me how. I just know. And like I said, I would love to see somebody perform a study on this, because I bet you it would be mind blowing if the children that said that they wanted to do whatever it is that they wanted to do when they were adults, become an artist, become a singer, become a cook, become a doctor, become anything, policeman, fireman, doesn't matter, okay? If those children were allowed to pursue what they said they wanted to do, they would do it, and they would be really good at it. Because, like I said, I believe that when you're in that present, being present, connected to source, connected to your soul at that point, because you're so young that that's all you are, you know exactly what it is that you came here to do. And it's a shame that most parents fail to see these things, and they don't encourage their children to do what it is that they love to do as they're growing up. So now let's fast forward to when you're like older. Let's say you're a teenager, and you have these ideas, or you have this, how do you say it? What's the word again? You have certain ambitions in your life, right? Of doing certain things, becoming a certain type of person, whatever it is. And let's say you have all these friends, and you're like sharing with them what you would like to do, the things you would like to do, the places you'd like to be, the people you'd like to meet, all these things. And then there is always going to be not only one, but more than one of whatever friends you had at that time that they're gonna be like, that's it's not good luck, you know. I guarantee you that multiple people are not only gonna try to talk you out of it, but they're gonna say, oh, that's not possible, that's not possible, and they're gonna give you a million reasons for it. And do you know why that is? Because they've been conditioned so hard to be this fake person, to wear this mask, to be a part of the whole of the group of society, that they want everyone to be the same way, everyone to think the same way, everyone to be a certain, have a certain mindset. People are literally indoctrinated into not being able to believe themselves and the things that they are capable of doing when they really set intention to it. Real intention. And what I mean by that is what I said earlier. You put your mind, your heart, your soul, and your body to it. Everything is possible. There are no limits for the human potential. And there have been plenty of people that walked this earth that proved that to be the point. So, before you start denying yourself right away after listening to this and being like, oh, how am I going to do it? No. Just by asking yourself that question, you already defeated yourself. That's how they get you. They make it so that every single person out there does not believe in themselves, is not capable of believing in their own true potential. Because we become disconnected from who we really are. And when we are disconnected in that way, obviously you won't be able to achieve things. You won't be able to do things because you're not being true to yourself. So if you want to start doing great things, becoming great, because every single person on this earth was born to be great, but then they were brainwashed to think otherwise. That's the trick. But it's all trickery, it's all fakery, it's all illusions, because anyone can do whatever they want if they dedicate themselves to it. Truly, everything is possible, my friends. And don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. In fact, if you wanted to do certain things and people in your relationships, circles of interactions, whoever they are, I don't care if they are blood related to you. I don't care if it's your boyfriend. I don't care if it's your husband, your wife. It doesn't matter. People who tell you to doubt yourself or who doubt your capability, especially those that are supposed to love us for who we are, do you honestly think that someone who actually truly loved you would put you down in that way and would try to discourage you from pursuing something that you feel connected to it and you want to do it? My advice to you is, if there's people like that in your life, walk away. Let them go. Because you want to connect with those who will uplift you, inspire you, and make you realize your true potential, your true capabilities, what you're worth, what you can do, when you put all of you into it. So, yes, you were born to be great. That is the real truth that no one wants anybody to know. And the other thing is, imagine the difference that this would make in the whole world. The impact of something like that. Because if we were all doing the things we were meant to be doing, we were supposed to be doing, it would be a completely different world than the one that we live in. Because everybody would be filled with joy, satisfaction. Everyone would be in a state of self-harmony, stability, self-love, loving each other truly in the real sense, in the real meaning. But how can we do that if we don't even love ourselves to begin with? And I'm speaking of, generally speaking here, that's the case with the majority of the population. People forgot who they are, so by default, by forgetting who they are, they forgot what it means and what it is to love yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to be able to achieve any of these things that I spoke of. That is the secret. Be present at all times. Understand what being present, what being present means. Feel your presence. Embody that. Live it. Feel the beat of your heart. Every breath you take, feel that. That's energy coming in, going out. Your heart beating is this precise divine instrument that keeps the blood in your body flowing everywhere within you. Creation is beautiful. There is so much that it is divine about every single one of us that we fail to see and understand in every single way. It's saddening for those of us that know. And this is why I make these videos, my friends. Open your eyes. Open your heart. Be yourself again. It's not that hard. Yes, it requires a little bit of effort sometimes. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. Because you will never feel that way ever again once you understand and you know what being present truly means. And with that said, I love you all with my mind, heart, and soul. And you should do that to yourself as well. Learn how to be that way. Learn how to do that. And I will catch you all on the next one. Take care, my friends.